Welcome to uh, Triggered, the set. So good to have you here. I'm interested to see if my South African accent randomly comes out while speaking to you on,
It probably will.
on camera. You never know. You never know. It might happen. But I'm excited to have you on. I obviously, from my child's perspective growing up, I know a little bit on your story.
Yeah.
However, growing up in South Africa, you and Dad did a good job at also sheltering us from a lot of stuff that was going on
Yeah.
because you didn't want to you didn't want it to have a negative impact on our lives. However, we're older now, and
Of course you are.
and we
Mm.
don't need the shelter anymore.
No, no.
I think the time of the the story is relevant now on what we went through.
Mm,
And so, yeah, obviously there's so much in your story. There's so much people have no idea
that's true.
of. And so I want to, reveal a little bit of that today and how that story basically impacted you moving to New Zealand, how it impacted you in your work, how it impacted you maybe even going back to South Africa, all these little
Yep.
things. Last year you jumped into our NeuroFit program to work on the mental mess.
That I never knew I had.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So I love to kick off from there and say, like, what was going on in life. Like you said, you didn't know what was there, and so what did you find out? And then I
Okay.
love to kind of go back and forth and see where that come from, and you know
Okay.
jump in there. So, yes.
All right. Well, I'm actually really privileged to be on Triggered. I really feel I'm like, wow, you actually invited me on your program, on your show. Right. So I grew up in Cape Town and I came while Rico actually invited the two mums, his mother-in-law and myself, to the NeuroFit program.
Mm.
And our response was like, we don't need that. We're absolutely fine. And this is after
Yeah.
the two dads.
Says
His dad.
every wife says, I'm fine, but that my husband's not, so he should go and sort himself out.
Well, the husbands went already. I mean, like, oh, okay, they sorted, they changed, and we could see the fruit of that.
Mm.
We thought, well, we're absolutely fine. And because said, no, mums, I really think you should come. Well, I think a couple of weeks in, it's like nothing's coming up. Like we're absolutely fine until, of course, when you go a little bit deeper in and we dug a little bit. And it was things I never knew was there. And we saw the fruit of it. So I was really triggered by my childhood and I never went that deep. I never thought it had an impact. We just moved on. We just lived life. I think I'm quite a optimistic, positive person. So I never dig down to see some of the fruit in my behavior or just how I respond and what triggers me. I never thought about that I get triggered. That all came up and that all went right back to my growing up years. So that was a good thing to look at this stage of my life and to actually get free from it.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things in there, right? You said there's something to get free from. So I'd love to go down that track. But at the same time, you've never really thought about it, which
No.
is also it's quite a generational thing.
Yeah.
Move on. The past is in the past.
Yep.
You don't bring up the sins of your father. Like all those little,
You just move on.
nuances that have been taught over the years.
It's part of our culture.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. So it's like, you don't need to bring that up.
No.
But we all know that your past is what impacts your whole body today.
Yeah.
It's 4 to 7 past memories are given your perception at any given time. Your whole nervous system, your view on life is based on your own experience.
Yeah.
So we can't ignore it. But the hard exterior of someone that's gone through some stuff, right? Comes to New Zealand. Now, New Zealand, when did we move here? 2003?
2003.
Culture shock.
Yep.
right? So
Yeah.
very, very different in terms of just
Where I come from.
where you come from. Um, when, like, how did you just put that past is in the past, we move forward now, and we just, yeah.
Well, I literally had this mindset. This is a new beginning, and we're going to embrace and get to know this culture
Mm,
and get to know the people of New Zealand. We didn't want to get to know more South Africans in New Zealand. We actually came here to get to know what is New Zealand about and wanting to get to know other people
mm,
and the different cultures.
mm,
And I think that opened Dad and my perspective on life.
yeah,
Because when we were in Cape Town, we only had that perspective.
yeah.
And now we're getting to know different cultures and just like, wow, there's a
Mm,
whole new world out here.
mm,
And so we embrace that. Not that we had anything against South Africans, it's just that we want to expand our thinking
yeah,
and expand, just like it was like a bird set free and just wanted to fly and just see what's
yeah.
on the other side. That was our attitude,
Mm,
and get to know other people outside of our culture.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to spend a bit more time on culture because there are a lot of cultures in New Zealand,
Yeah.
right? I mean, in the
Yeah.
workplaces, there's a lot of cultures. I think when it comes to culture, not many people take it into an account when it comes to a person's behavior,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Westernized culture is very individualistic, and so they think predominantly around
Mm.
like, well, this is what's right
Right.
for
Yeah.
me, so I will do this. But then you have a person from India or,
Yeah.
you know, Papua New Guinea or
Mm.
somewhere else, and they would never think that way
No.
because of their culture, but
Yeah.
normal westernized person can't comprehend. So I'd
Mm.
like to talk about colored culture in South Africa, right? Parts of it I love. Uh, parts of it I
Not
don't
good.
love.
Mm.
For you, I know one thing that it's very hard for coloreds. I was going to use that term today. Most of
Don't
the
like to use that term.
yeah.
Don't even. It's so derogative.
Yeah, so let's go there. So where did that come from? Who gave the
Oh,
term coloreds, right? Because in South Africa, if people don't know, you have it's segregated black,
yeah.
coloreds, whites.
Hmm.
So that's the three segregations that
Black, colored, white, Asians,
okay.
Jews.
Yeah,
And then
so
you
it's
got
all
the whites,
segregated.
the English whites and Afrikaans whites. And there's also kind of war between those two
Yeah,
cultures.
okay. So where did the term coloreds come from?
It came through the apartheid, through the government.
Oh, so the government just
The
put it on you.
government put it out there.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
whites, coloreds, blacks. And that's where the segregation came.
Mm,
So land was taken away from coloreds and blacks, and you were put in different pockets in the land. So
yeah.
you couldn't go, this was all the white areas. These are areas for the coloreds. Only coloreds live, we only blacks live.
Mm,
So you cannot cross the line. And you cannot buy houses in the white area or the black area. You need to stay in your
yeah.
segregated section.
Is that where District 6?
District 6 was a big part of the colored community.
Yeah.
And actually, District 6 had a lot of people living there, and they were surrounded by a lot of whites and Jews because this was in the heart of Cape Town,
Yep.
in the city. But the word colored means a child of a bastard.
Mm,
And so when we found out what it meant, I didn't want to be associated with that
yeah.
because, we come from black and white, and then
Yeah.
we get our color skin.
Yeah. 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 It's like the children of a broken law.
That's
kind
it.
of thing. You broke the
That's
laws.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, so it was a very born into that era. So
Mm,
you don't know because you're really born into it.
yeah.
You don't know this has just come in. You don't know this is
Yeah.
what the culture is. And so our parents, they had to just adapt.
Yeah.
But the sad thing about it, that we weren't allowed to ask questions. When we asked, they would say, "It's none of your business."
Mm,
So when we grew up and we found out later that families were divided.
mm,
For example, your grandfather, Pa, his dad and mum, one of their children, they had 8 children, and Uncle Colin when the apartheid came in, he decided he's going to the white side. So
Because he had fairer skin.
He had fear. There's a few of them in that family. Because Pa's actually French descent. Ma Heskwer looked like she looked like a white woman.
Mm.
And she looked like an Afrikaner. So she had blue eyes and she was fair. But some of the aunts and uncles, if you think of Pa, was a little bit tanned. But Uncle Leslie, Uncle Colin was really fair with blue eyes. And so Uncle Colin was influenced that there would be more job opportunities, businesses for him. And so he decided, he was young, he decided he'll go that way. But he rejected his whole family.
Wow.
And so he had to go live in the white area, away from all his family. And he's not allowed to come into our area.
Wow.
Well, no, actually the whites were allowed to come into our area, but we can't go that side. And Pa and Ma was really cut up about it.
Yeah, fair enough. But
years later, he actually came. It was a family gathering, and he actually came to Pa and Ma's house. We were all there. And Auntie Jean saw him and said to Pa, Uncle Colin's there. Colin is there. And Pa ran out. He ran out to hug him and welcome him. And everybody was actually happy to see him.
Wow.
And for a young man, he'd have felt totally...
Yeah.
He made that choice, but he realized family was probably more important.
Yeah.
So that was...
It's a hard thing.
It's a hard thing. It's broke up marriages.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine because you're going against the acceptance of majority of the population, right? And yeah. Okay, so then, so you said when you were doing the NeuroFit program, you found out some things about your childhood that you didn't know still impacted you today.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Okay. So, what came up for me in the NeuroFit program was, I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I'm just...
Who's the belief? The belief
was so strong because the word stupid was used every single day. It's used by your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles, your teachers, every single person in authority. And shame. You should be ashamed of yourself. When you did any mistake, anything wrong, don't be so stupid. How can you be so stupid?
Yeah, wow.
So it's kind of drilled into you as part of the language. And you know what? I went back last year to South Africa and they still use, it's still so strong.
Oh, wow.
It's like, don't be so stupid. How can you do that? Oh my gosh, you're so stupid. And every time I heard it, something would just rise up in me and I was just like, you're still using that word.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, and I remember when that was one of the words that and I decided you're not allowed to use. You and Carla were not allowed to use that word stupid. Nobody's stupid. But I didn't realize it was so ingrained.
In you.
In me. And because we weren't allowed to ask questions, I didn't realize what came up for me in the NeuroFit program of how I froze when people said you can ask questions. And I just go blank. It's like, I don't know what to ask.
Yeah, wow.
Because it was shut down for so many years.
Yeah, all through your childhood.
Yeah, and that would make me feel again, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to ask. I'm so stupid. So, yeah, it was just, that was very impactful. And it was so ingrained that I had to go back to see where the root cause was.
Yeah. And where did that come from?
In NeuroFit, you got that section where you have to forgive.
Yes.
And I'm like, who do I need to forgive? I forgive all the time. So going down that route, I had to forgive the government of South Africa that was ruling and reigning in that era of my life. Because they have set the law and everybody had to obey the law. And it was just shame and stupidity. So teachers had to follow what they were told. So they couldn't do what they wanted to do. They had to go with that. So if you didn't fit the mold of the teaching, if you didn't get an A or B, that you were marked stupid. So you go sit, they put you in a corner.
Wait, they isolate you. Is it?
you're
Wow.
isolated because you just don't meet even the average.
Wow.
So it was just so the shame and the ingrained that you're just not smart. There was no encouragement. This is my personal experience. Right? There was no encouragement. There's no encouragement coming from home.
Yeah.
No, well done. Oh, you got such a good report. It's like, I don't think I ever got a good report.
Where do you reckon that comes from? Is that, I think another cultural thing, right? Is that don't want to get your hopes too high.
Yes.
We've been through a lot. Like if you get your hopes too high, you're going to get disappointed.
You can't dream.
Yeah.
You can only go this far because the
and
wife
if
will
you
always
do
be.
dream, is it put down?
Yes. You don't say. I remember when Dad and I got married and we did this Dale Carnegie course. And so in the course, it teaches you, I think the course was how to influence people and win friends and influence people.
Yes.
And then part of the course, you had to speak out loud for 60 seconds about a topic in front of people. I mean, this is my biggest fear. And so they go for the fear, the thing that you fear. And I'll never forget, I spoke for 60 seconds in front of a group of people, and then they clap for you and they encourage you. And this was new for Dad and I.
Received that.
So I remember coming home, I was so excited, and my mom and dad was in bed. And I said, I spoke in front of people for the first time. And I told them what I spoke about, and they just looked at me. There was no, and I just thought, I can't share anything.
Yeah.
But also, they were brought up like that.
Yeah.
And so they didn't know how to respond to that. And so it was new for them. And I think Dad and I kind of did stuff in the family that made them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because we were very intentional about breaking out of the culture.
I think this is why it becomes so apparent to me on why it's so hard to break out the culture now. Because if you think about getting out, if you think about moving beyond where you are in that
box
in Cape Town, it's it's not encouraged.
No.
It's looked down upon, and you need dreams to motivate you for change.
Yeah.
And then that motivation, or the hope that could be a reality is what's going to motivate you to make a change.
Yeah.
And then the making of a change is hard, especially in isolation that goes against the grain of everyone that you have acceptance from.
Yeah. Your family.
And I think that's why I'm like, so funny. I spoke this year. I spoke at a financial firm and everyone's dressed to the nines, right? And I shared a little bit of like my shame of South Africa, and me thinking I'm ambitious was me just running away from poverty.
Yeah.
And I shared that kind of thing. And I was like, anyone else in here from South Africa? And it was one person, right? Colored person. And I was like, oh, also, where are you from? She's like, Mitchell's Plain. I was like, you made it.
Yeah.
You're here by yourself from Mitchell's Plain.
That is big.
And I'm like, in an investment firm, you have
right.
I was like, forgot what I was talking about. I was pumped, but I'm like, it makes so much sense now because
it's a fight.
It is a fight. You fight I fight your own family.
Yeah. And because they're scared of getting out. And so they kind of pull you back. And they feel
out of their view of safety, right? Like because for years government has if you step out of line, bam.
Control.
So then out of that safety, we want to keep you safe. Don't step out of line.
Yeah.
Even though the laws are passed.
So I would think that girl would probably be more or less your age. So her mum and dad would be mum and dad's age. So I think the people in that's the generation that was trying and who tried for change and would actually break free. And so they would give her an opportunity. And if not, right now there has been change where they feel, actually, I can do this. And have the courage to actually break and go out. Because I think our generation now is more encouraging. But when Dad and I started, it wasn't that encouraging. It was really breaking through. So we'd put you in schools that the family wouldn't.
Yeah.
And we had lots of backlash.
Yeah.
So every And I have to say, there was one couple, we joined this business, and there was one couple, Cousin and one endowment. Now, they white Afrikaners. They believed in us, and they encouraged us, but we didn't believe in ourselves. We didn't believe. We would get stuck and just couldn't see what they're seeing and couldn't believe what they're believing. We tried.
Yeah.
But I think if it wasn't for them continually encouraging us,
Yeah.
continually saying things, the right things over
Yeah.
us, that kind of helped us keep going. So we did need that people, but it was very hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. And so then, talking about the generation that fought for change, most people don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Don't know what change in that space looks like, right? So, from your point of view, growing up, I know you fought for change in areas. I know there would have been the part where you have to deal with they didn't treat us
Yeah.
nicely.
Nice. Yeah.
And I had to go and forgive a government for making me feel certain ways. What were you fighting for?
So in my high school years, if I think about today, I can't believe it actually happened. When I went to primary school, I had about a 3K walk every day to school, and people were boycotting. The high schools was already fighting for equal education because the education was graded according to black, white, coloreds. So the high schoolers were rioting, but I didn't understand because we were in primary school, and we had a high school very close to our school, our primary school. And so the minute we called them Caspers, but they're actually army trucks with army people with guns on going into high schools. So they drive, and then the primary school, the minute they hear the sirens, they would close the primary school and just send us all home. Now, we're going home. There's no mom and dad at home. You just have to go home, and you have to walk home.
For 3Ks.
3Ks. And so, fortunately, my grandmother was home, so we'd all go to school from Mama's house. And so we just get sent home, but you're so scared because everybody's just running.
Yeah.
And you're just running home. So sometimes I bump into my brother or people you know, and there's just this panic. And so you just run home. When you get home, your sisters, brothers, mama say, there's no like, oh, why are you home so early? What's happened? There's no, you're home. And then you wait for your mom and dad to come from work to get you. But it was, and then I went to high school and got more understanding. So I was in year 10, year 11, so at 8, 9, 10. Yeah, year 11. And literally 3/4 of that year, we fought for equal education. So we would boycott and have meetings. So we had a council, but the police would come, the army trucks would come on our premises, and we would have silent marches where we just have boards that would say, we want equal education, and we'd sing. There's the one song I remember. We'd walk around the perimeter of our house, of the school, and the army guys would be with tear gas guns, and they're just standing way above us, and we'd just be walking, and the song we sang was We Shall Overcome. And I think it would just irritate the daylights out of them. So when they spoke to you, they would speak to you in Afrikaans. That's another personal reason why I don't like the language Afrikaans. I'm sorry to my Afrikaans friends, but that's the reason why I don't like it. You were forced to learn it, and you were forced to speak it. And if you answer a police in Afrikaans, they either smack you or they really...
If you answer them in English.
If you answer them in English, when they speak to you in Afrikaans, you have to answer them in Afrikaans. So we'd sing it in English. And we knew it was aggravating them. But it was peaceful, and it was in our school, and we did that. My brother Gavin was at college at that time, and they had it worse. They were shot at because he was starting to be a teacher, and he had to travel by bus or train to get to college. And so he had it worse, and he was more passionate about fighting for equal education because they try to keep the degrees that you get just in, like we had a specific Western Cape University, but the degrees you get there is not recognized anywhere else.
But in the
But in
Western
South Africa.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so that all came up for me. when I had to forgive. So my forgiveness letter was around the government and what they've done and how they've oppressed us. And I think I got really angry writing it because just the opportunities that's stolen.
Yeah.
But more the dignity of a human being and what they call you and how they treated you. Like you're not worth being a human being. And so that, I think, got to me the day all this emotion came up. And I thought, oh my gosh, where's it coming up from? So it was a biggie for me.
Yeah.
Because
I can imagine.
my dignity, I felt robbed in education, felt robbed of what I could have become. But at the same time, I'm so glad Dad and I were on the same page to really fight it.
Yeah.
And we had this idea, if we can't get it, our children is going to go way higher. And so we fought for that. And we just we put them in the schools where they need to grow. We will give them opportunities where we can, that they can grow and we will try and speak the right language and never use that word shame and stupid. And so, yeah, we used to get upset with your grandfather who always used to say, don't be so stupid. I was like, you're not allowed to use that word on my children.
Well, obviously, Kara and I are obviously very grateful because we get to reap the rewards of the fight that you went through. There's so much in that I want to jump on. Come back to forgiveness, right? So obviously we all know it's a good thing to do. Not many people talk about why it's good, what it actually does. You're looking at here, you're like, okay, this was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So like,
all them.
We're going back now.
We're going further back. Like born in the 60s, early 60s. So it was really implemented. Yeah, so you're going more than 50, 55 years ago.
Yeah, but then you fighting it through till 1992, right?
Yes.
So that's school life, but as an adult, I'm still segregated.
Yes.
As an adult, I'm still
Okay, when Mandela came in,
yes,
he opened up the schools where you could actually put your children into what they called model schools. So when he came in, 94, we could actually, so Carlo was 7 or 8. And I thought, right, this is our opportunity. But of course, the fees would be high because they don't want anybody just to come in. But we were adamant, this is our opportunity. So the sad thing about we sent you to this Model C school, but the teachers haven't changed yet.
No, just the law.
Just the law has changed.
This is Sweet Valley?
This was Sweet Valley Primary School.
Yeah, I remember.
Anybody there? So poor Carlo had, he was the first one, like from our family that went there. And I'll never forget, his teacher was a Afrikaner. And so she really struggled. And she gave him a really hard time that I went to the school like 3 or 4 times. And I was so grateful that year I was home. I stopped work and I was home where I could be kind of involved, which is another rare thing in that time.
Yeah.
Because then I was told, I'm lazy, I want to be a madam, I just want to, Anyway, I got involved in the school and I remember picking him up. And I just had one, I said, what happened today? What's the matter? And he walked on the wrong side of, it was morning tea time, wrong side of the stairway. He's 7, okay? During morning tea with his lunch. And this teacher came and she got so upset, you're supposed to walk this side of the stairway. And she took his lunch and she put it in the bin. She threw it in the bin. So he had nothing. This is morning tea time.
7 years old.
7 years old. I made a U-turn. Like, no ways. I made a U-turn and went to the school, went to see the principal. I said, this is not okay. He had another incident happen. So at that time, your hair had to be cut quite short. And
I remember.
Yeah, and he wanted to go to this art show. And we got this letter from school that anybody that want to go to this art exhibition or something. And so he wanted to go. And so I filled the form and I said, yes. And apparently this teacher said to him, you're not even a good artist. You can't even draw. Why would you want to go to the art show?
Wow.
And so his friend, who's white, said, teacher, he can. And he gives his drawing, puts it up, and she thinks it's Carlo's, but it was his. And she said, you call that art? And so when he told me that, oh my gosh, I saw red. So all this triggered me. Like,
yeah, I
it
can
just
imagine.
triggered.
I can imagine.
So
it's triggering me as a parent. Someone did that to my kids.
Gosh.
I'm like, goodness.
And so I started writing a letter. And they're like, you cannot write that. You cannot. I said, but I want to. I'm writing this. I said, she has no idea what's in him. She didn't make him. She has no clue. Man, I was angry. So Dad had me write it down. And then he said, no, you're going to have to change it. I said, no, I'm writing that. So poor Carla had no idea. So I wrote the letter, put in his bag. I didn't tell him what's in there. I said, I want you to give this to your teacher. And Carla just delivered the letter, not knowing what was in there. And I told her in no uncertain terms. Anyway, he was the only one in the class that wanted to go, and he went. But she treated him not that great. She actually, because she said to the class in front of him, did I say this to Carlo? And of course the children's going to be scared.
Yeah.
So she embarrassed him.
Mm.
And so I went back into the school and I said, she need to apologize to him. And she actually pulled him up by his hair. That short hair, he had to stand in front of the whole class. And I thought, no, this is not on. And so I could lay a case against her because that law just came in.
Yeah.
That teachers weren't allowed to touch the children, which wasn't great. But I'm just thinking, no ways. And so I said, no, I won't lay a case against her. I want her to apologize to him in front of the whole class. Because I know that would be really bad for a white Afrikaner apologizing to a colored child. And it would hurt her a lot more than me laying a case against her. I know I was evil, eh? But yeah, that was part of our journey. And I just thought, no, she's going to apologize.
Yeah.
And you know what? He stayed at the school, and years later, she would actually greet him and say hello to him and talk to him. And then again, if he didn't play rugby, another sir, Mr. Evans, also pushed him down. And I had to go and see him.
And
so
Mr.
I just
Black?
thought...
Was it Mr. Black, the maths teacher? As you won't pass maths?
No, it wasn't. It was Mr. Evans, I remember.
Mr. Evans. Oh, okay, no.
That told me I need to realize that my child's is an average child. He'll never...
Oof.
Yeah, I know. Tell me, right? Dad, we're sitting in that meeting, and Dad put his legs over my leg to tell, because he saw me go, let me just tell you. And Dad said, no, that's not happening today. And so to take a deep breath, and I listened to what he had to say. And I said calmly, I said, you have no idea what's inside of him. And so I left that meeting and I said, right, now we're going to prove him wrong. So that was June, because we had to go in halfway through the year for an interview of how your child is doing. And at the end of that year, Carla improved in every single subject and got the award at the end of the year. The most, I can't remember, it was the most improved. We got a cup. The most improved, I don't know.
Something.
Can't remember. But he walked across that stage. And I thought, we will prove you wrong. You push us down, we're going to not fight with like that. We will show you in action. So that was my motto after that.
Yeah. So, but this is crazy, right? Because now you're like, well, as a child, as a teenager, I fight for equal education.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity now to send our children
for a better education.
To get better education. And
thanks to Mandela.
Yeah. But now I'm fighting against the teachers teaching.
Yes.
Right.
Because they haven't changed yet.
No.
Yeah.
No. Well, I get that, because laws anyway, like a company changes a policy doesn't mean the people's hearts change.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
yeah,
it's been ingrained in them that's how you treat. It's a lesser thing.
Yeah.
The dignity part speaks a lot, and I think a lot of people are impacted by that because it's treating you like you're not a human being, right?
Yeah.
I remember in Nelson Mandela's book, he talks about when he was in prison
Yeah.
and they would beat him and stuff like that. And he says in his book when he realized that they were trying to take his dignity away.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
said, but my dignity was not given by them. It was inherited. And I have an inherited dignity that cannot be taken because it was not given by the person trying to take it. And I was like, man, that's,
Wow.
like, I was like, it's so like profound because it's like, end of the day, like I have a dignity that like it's in my genes. It's inherited by the fight of my parents that went through some stuff that I would never have to go through.
That's
But
right.
what's awesome about that is that gives me a sense of resilience that whatever I face today,
You can overcome.
I can overcome because you guys actually faced it a lot harder. You know?
can overcome.
Which is awesome.
That was our song.
Yeah, that's
we
it.
shall overcome.
That's it. That's it. Oh man. Okay, well, so then fast forward today, right? So for you, you had this belief that you're stupid, not intelligent, dumb, that kind of language has been ingrained into you for so many years. You leave the country, it doesn't mean it it leaves your heart and your mindset, right? And you're pushing against it most of your life.
Yeah.
This chip on your shoulder to say, I'll prove you wrong.
Yep.
All right.
And hardworking.
And I will outwork. I'll outwork whatever is put in front. I'll make sure I get it done. And I mean, both you and Dad did that through your careers. You know, think of Dad, and when someone says he can't do it, okay. You know, like the motivation to tell you that to show you that to show you that I will do it. There's a part of that that's needed for that season.
Yeah.
Not always healthy for life though.
No.
So how do you reckon that belief of you're stupid, you're dumb, has actually impacted you through life as an adult?
I worked really hard. I was always known as a diligent worker. And I did that so that no one would say she's lazy. There was another term used, you're so lazy. Lazy, or she's dumb, she actually knows what she's doing. And so you're really striving to get approval of your employers, because they also carry authority. So if they think I'm doing a good job, okay, I'm okay. But it's still, and when you make a mistake, you're really hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Because, I must be stupid. But when I was on your program, it was during that time because things were coming up that I didn't know was there. And we're sitting around this table, and I'm sitting next to a PA of another school, and I just started at the school I'm at. And the lady next to me, the finance officer, said, "Oh, you're sitting next to the perfect person. You can ask her any question." Because I just started in this role now, so I can ask her because she's quite experienced. Like, when she said that, I looked and I went completely blank. And
To ask a question.
To ask her a question about, so it can help me. And I couldn't think of a single question, and my whole face just went. And fortunately, that lady must have said, she said, "You don't have to ask me anything now. When you're ready." And man, that role played in my mind all the time. I think, what is going on? Why can't? And I came back from that lunch feeling so dumb. So
yeah, wow.
That all those feelings came back.
So that lunch was during
my
you going to the NeuroFit program. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
So it's almost like you're aware of it.
Yes.
And now it happens.
And I'm like, oh. And so I came back to the office and I said to Vicky, when you did that, I said, I went completely blank. I didn't know what to ask her. And I didn't talk for the rest of the lunch. I was so shocked that happened. And I didn't know it was there. And so I emailed her once I was relaxed and I emailed and asked a few questions. But she was so gracious, just said, when you're ready, you can ask me.
But this is such a perfect thing to understand because most people avoid, like, the trigger is often seen as negative, right?
Yeah.
I went to that
Yeah.
lunch and I didn't feel myself.
No.
And so then we start to avoid the lunch. Oh, the lunch was the issue. Those people were the
No.
issue because, in fact, that environment just triggered your past that hasn't actually been dealt
Dealt
with.
with.
It's been
Yeah.
forgotten,
It
which
has
is
been
not
forgotten.
processed, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it triggers something in your past that gives your body a shock. Blank,
Absolutely did.
stress, cortisol washing over
Yeah.
your brain, all like just bam. And you can't be yourself.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's how triggers work, people.
That's right.
That's how
Oh
triggers
my
work.
gosh. And then I came home and I wrote, why did that trigger me? And
Yeah,
it went
cool.
right down to, because another thing that was, I had to work hard to prove to people that I'm smart or I'm not dumb and I'm not lazy, all that labels. And then when that happened, I was like, where did this come from? Why was I so why did I go so blank? And why couldn't I ask a question? And it brought all the memories of, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to ask a question. And then the memory of Mrs. Dreyer, my teacher, when I was just out of school, she taught us something. I was 6. It was my first day of school.
Yeah.
And then she started asking. I didn't understand what she was trying to say. So I put my hand up, because you had to put your hand up. And I asked her a question about it. And she looked at me, she said, that is the dumbest question I've ever heard.
Wow. To a 6-year-old.
To a 6-year, and
Wow.
and she was, New Year, and she's standing with a cane, because they taught with a cane. And so they point to the board with a cane, and if they needed to hit you, they hit you with a cane. And I remember my whole body started shaking, and I was so scared and nervous that I never, ever asked a question in class. I would think it,
Wow.
but I couldn't say it. And many times what that trigger from that lunch, when people are talking, or when I'm at somewhere, say you giving a presentation and I'm there, and then someone say, any questions in the room? I'd have the question here, and then someone would ask the question. I said, I was going to ask that. In my mind, I would say it. Or if someone said, can you explain this? And I struggle to explain something simple, or even just a word. What's another word for this? And I'd go completely blank. And then I said, I knew that. In my mind, I would say it. But it's just the silence of it all. So when that triggered me, and I wrote out everything, then I had to write, what's my new belief? And I had to become, my new word was, I'm courageous. Not in action, but courageous in looking at myself and where I can change. Looking inside and saying, okay, this is your blind spot. This is what needs to change. You cannot respond like this anymore.
Yeah.
But I had to become, instead of hiding it, become courageous enough to look inside and say, Ingrid, you need to turn this off and turn this on.
Yeah.
So that was hard. But again, it had to go to forgiving the people. They told me that, and I believed it, and I accepted it.
Yeah, so there's so much in this, right? So that you have the people part,
Yeah.
okay, plays a massive role. I want to talk about that. But then we have the other part of actually what I've come into agreement with what was said
Yeah.
all my life. And that I've got to deal with that.
Because no one else
No one
can.
else. I'm the only one that's agreeing with this.
Yeah.
Right. And so all my life I have that. And so you going through this process, I have found this belief. I'm going to choose not to partner with it because
Yeah.
I can find the evidence that these people didn't make me. I can find the evidence that
Yeah.
actually this belief has no weight to it.
Yeah.
I've just accepted.
Yeah.
And so then I'm taking it now. I've got to deal with this.
Yeah.
You can come in, Dad. It's fine.
You're nearly done.
Nearly done.
Oh.
And so I've taken this belief. Okay, cool. But then there's the people aspect. And the people aspect has a different part to play, right? Because what we say when a person has moved the identity, their self-belief away from the pain of the past, then we say, okay, cool. However, the people that cause pain still has to be dealt with.
Yeah.
The reason being is that people cause a relational breach.
Mm.
And so the breach that occurs when, for your example, when you are verbally abused,
Mm.
when you are abandoned, when you are rejected, those
Mm.
are all breaches in relationship because you're not met with unconditional love.
No.
And then what happens is we now have a relational fear. Breach
Mm.
in relationship, now I fear abandonment. I fear being exposed. I
Yeah.
fear, and so therefore fear would take your
Yeah.
body and go, well, shut up now.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be exposed if you say
Yes.
something that's not right.
Yeah.
And they'll say, oh, you are stupid. And so then,
Or she's not who she says she is, or
yes,
come across as.
yes.
Yeah.
And so, but then you're like, oh, hold on, that's a relational fear that I've got. And the only way that fear is actually going to go is to deal with the people
Mm.
that caused it. And unfortunately, you got to do forgiveness
Yep.
on
Yeah.
that track, which you have.
I have, so that they don't hold me any longer.
Mm,
They don't have a voice in my head
yep.
or in my heart. And that's what forgiveness does. It literally frees your body.
Mm,
Because it's like, those people are not even thinking about me.
no.
They don't even remember. Most of them are probably dead.
Yeah.
And why are they in my present to actually hold me in bondage anymore?
That's it.
It's like they don't have the right.
No.
And that's what the forgiveness did for me. It's like I'm taking their power away.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a good, Mom.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, time has moved on, so I don't want to. I don't want to take too much of your time still. So, for a person, just one quick tip for a person that is in the shoes of my past is so far from daily reality now that not many people would understand. Like, I've had a past,
Mm.
and I was verbally abused, sexually abused, but it's in shame, so it's
Mm.
hidden. And they're living with some beliefs. They've got some resentment and hurt and
Mm.
offense and anger and hatred. What would you say to that person that's struggling to let it go?
For me personally, it's actually not worth it. They're not worth holding you and your life in bondage.
Mm,
Because if you don't let go, it's like letting go
mm,
of their hold on you. And if you don't let go, your body suffers as well.
mm,
And when I got this revelation, like they're not going to make me sick. If you hold unforgiveness or bitterness in your body, I mean, the toxins going
yep.
through, that leads to physical sickness.
Mm,
And I'm like, they're not worth it. And
mm.
I don't handle physical pain really well. So I'm like, I'd rather get rid of it. But it's just setting yourself free.
Yeah.
They literally not worth holding you in bondage for the rest of your life.
Mm,
You're the one that's sitting with the problem.
mm,
But the minute I wrote down how they made me feel, I think I cried like crazy, but there was this release in my physical body and in my mind. Yes, I'm sad that happened, but the thing is, the freedom that happens in your mind and your physical body to move forward and think better.
yeah.
Like you're just free. It's just, you're so light
Yeah.
that they have and yes, a little bit of, say 5-10 minutes of really feeling the pain,
Mm,
feeling the sadness and the regret and the grief
yeah. Because it's
is
real.
it's real.
Mm,
It's very real. Have that 10-15 minutes of feeling it for a lifetime of freedom in that
mm.
area.
For a
It's worth
lifetime
it.
of freedom in
It's
that
worth
area.
it.
Yeah, that's it. The power of forgiveness. I think it hits everyone so different. Like, I had a client one time. Um, she had to forgive her mum. Not
Mm.
her mum's not here anymore,
Yeah.
right? But her mum, in my opinion, should have gone to jail. Like, it was bad.
Wow.
And she came to write her forgiveness letter, and she got a panic attack.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
can't do
can
it,
be, yeah.
can't do it. Came back the next day, now I'm going to try and do it. Got halfway through and then felt like she was getting choked. Couldn't breathe. Nope. and then came back the third day and said, no, she's not going to hold me anymore.
Yeah.
Pushed through. Their client had insomnia for about 20 years, and she slept 4 hours a night broken for 20 years.
Wow.
When she finished that letter, it
Wow.
was the first week where she slept 8 hours consistently across the week and started to remember her dreams.
Wow.
You know, so it's like, obviously it does impact everyone in so many different ways,
Yeah.
but for her,
The
that
physical.
the physical aspect was just,
Yeah.
so no, it's good. It is
No.
good. But Mum, thank you so much for jumping on. I'm sure a lot of
Thank
people
you.
are, you know, there's so many nuggets in your story, in this conversation, and then for people to take away to actually look at themselves. And what am I still holding on to? Do I need to? Do they have power over me?
Yeah.
It's super
So helped
valuable.
with it. Thank
So
you. Thank you for
thank you.
having me on.
No,
It was actually fun.
it's good. It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Thank you, Rico.
See you next episode, team.
Thank you.